I don't do the most, but I do a lot. I'ma make a toast, cause we still alive. No big, I feel like Pac. I shoot a shot. I'm coming in hot.
Our theme is Black royalty, and how this really came together was everybody in our group was an African American, and we wanted to kind of give something that was like inspiring to people who look like us, so our future generation can have inspiration to be better and do something better with their lives, and be still live to that king and queen standard.
Like, what was the inspiration outside of, you said Black royalty, but how'd you come up with the lion and the crown?
Well, the lion is the king of the jungle, and the crown is like we wanted to take it back to like our people back in ancient times, obviously ancient Egypt, and we just wanted to, we've seen how they lived through documentaries and stuff like that, and we wanted to take that theme and kind of incorporate it into today's society.
Saying that, why would you use a crown like from England?
Why would we use a crown from England?
Yeah, instead of an Egyptian crown.
Why would we use a crown from England? Well, we kind of had like a lack of knowledge on crowns, so we just kind of took a crown and kind of made it our own, kind of like an original style.
Okay.
Great answer.
Any more
No, I'm
questions?
gonna throw it, Jen.
Great answer.
Good answer.
As far as the creativity for the logo, who did y'all all combine ideas to come up with the concept, color, all of that?
Yes, under the leadership of Antonasia, we all kind of like came together and put ideas together. And everybody's opinion was heard. Everybody's opinion was taken into consideration, and there was trials and tribulations. So there was times where we had to go back to the drawing board and say, well, this didn't work, so let's do this now.
So a lion is a male.
A male.
So what represents the female when you have the kings and the queens?
Well, that is a great question. We kind of like used this line because obviously we had to go back to the drawing board, and obviously we were on a time span. But yes, you can see this lion is a male. But what would be a male without a strong queen behind him? So that's why we have this queen kind of representing our women of the group.
Good answer.
Great answer.
It's like a save.
Yeah.
Our quote is, it's from Black Panther, you get to decide the king or queen you want to be.
So our process was better than we expected because we had to go back so many times and change certain things. We thought that we wouldn't be done in time, but we all came together and focused, and like Centrell said, with Nene's help, and we got it done.
They were all criticizing us in some form or way. And like, I know they're judges, cause the cocky guy, he tried to take a shot at me like I wasn't prepared for it. I was, cause don't come at me like that.
Marketing wise, how do you plan on marketing your product? How much would you charge someone for a t-shirt?
Well, we wouldn't charge a lot because we don't want people to break the bank on like a t-shirt like other black business owners do, like Michael Jordan. We don't want people to do stuff like that, like for shoes. But we would set a price point around $10 to $15 for it.
Okay.
Wow.
How much? Do you know how much the cost of the shirt will be each?
Next question.
Because you do want to have at least a good profit margin because you have to split it with
Between four, and you have to account for the t-shirt cost, the printing cost, your time.
Right.
divided by 4.
By 4.
So it's basically $8 a shirt.
Right.
So that's how much it costs you to make it.
Right.
So you would want to sell it around $30 maybe.
Yeah.
Break the bank, bro.
Yeah.
Right.
Set your price and live your life. Don't worry about what other people. Their budget is not your problem.
Being a judge for the presentation was very interesting. You got to see the final version of what everybody was doing, everything that they created. I got to judge how they presented, because that was that was as important as the design.
First one, they presenter was dope. I like him. His energy was dope. However, he very well spoken in regards to what he was trying to present, and he answered. And
He had some nice comebacks when you guys
comebacks.
tried to set him up.
Elite.
But yeah, he did have good rebuttals.
So basically, just watching them present and articulate their ideas was really good to see, and we were able to give them really good critiques on their work, how they present it, and yeah, it was really nice.
Well, the
I
fact
got the
that
group
nobody spoke
presentation
but
as
him
two.
brought it down.
Yo.
Their creativity was I gave it a 4.
Well, you know what? We were trying to get them to create, but with some of the students, they want to procrastinate, they want to talk, they want to hang out,
And then they get a 1.
and then when it comes down to it, now they're trying to rush to put all their stuff together. It's
Right.
like, this is why we're telling you to hurry up,
Well, how long
get
they
your stuff
had?
together. They were designing for about a week,
Okay,
a week and a few days.
yeah, all right.
So that was the biggest issue, is just having them staying focused and taking it seriously. Like y'all, and I told them, I said, you guys are gonna have to present this. I'm not gonna have to present it.
Right.
Y'all gonna present it. So y'all better get it together.
It'd have been nice if it was like a double one, like with the king and the
Yeah,
lion
if
and the
they-
lioness.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, they really can't do it separately. It wouldn't work. Right.
Yeah, with their name.
Yeah, it wouldn't work right.
Our presentation was good. Like we handled it like pros, because everyone talked. We all brought meaning to our group and like purpose. So we executed it very well.
We said image because we wanted to represent people who are different, not like around from ages 12 to 18. Because during those times in life, you don't really know what you want to be. So this represents what you feel as though you want to be, if that makes any sense. Yes, so we represented the colors too, because colors pop out. Each color is you. Like each color is a different mood, each color is you, right? And the I represents Imani. The M represents Makai.
But unfortunately, he couldn't make it today.
Sorry, say it again.
Unfortunately, he couldn't make it today.
Thank you. The G represents Gabriel, and the J represents Jasharia. Now, I know you're thinking, why put your names on a shirt and just to be selfish? No, you shouldn't be. See, because if we did this, we're trying to show the kids that if we can do this, you can do it too.
What came first, the camera or the name?
The name.
Okay.
See, our quote is the bigger picture, and image falls with camera, and so does picture. So we're like, when we were thinking about our brand, we were thinking about like what falls in image and what falls in picture, and camera came up.
Another way that we picked the picture is like, what do you take of like to capture that moment specifically, is either like a camera or like a recorder. So that also came into mind.
I wanted to say, don't feel like ashamed about putting your name as part of the clothing line. I mean, Carl Kanai, you got Tommy Hilfiger, like Sean, like come on, man, like no, put your name on your shirt.
Yes.
Why? Your shirt. I
That's
like it.
creative too. Anyway, I like the way y'all put that together. The image and it spells out the name. That's dope.
I feel like each judge was like reasonable in their own category, because like they're judging you on like certain stuff, and each of them has different criteria that they're judging you on. So it's like kind of like back and forth.
Ups and downs, like working together as a team. Like, how did that go?
I wouldn't say it was 100% easy, but I mean, like, it wasn't that difficult at all, because like when we first started this, it was like, that was like one of the first ideas, the first letter of all our names. So it was just like pretty easy to come up with that. It was just the camera and the colors that was the difficult part.
But what was the worst part?
Losing Makai, because he was our artist.
Talk to us a little bit about like what it's like just being able to create your own clothing line at this age. Like not many people have the opportunity. This is your first time. What was it like just being a part of that and creating your own clothing line?
To be honest, it was like a whole different experience from what we're all used to, because we never thought we'd have this opportunity at such a young age, like you said. And I'm pretty sure we all thought it was fun.
I would totally buy Image shirt, and let me tell you why. Because
image. It's like the compilation, accumulation of all their names. And it's like, what? And then if you look at the design, it's simple, but then it's out there. It's just a camera in front of like a paint splatter. But if you look at that paint, all the different colors, and then you got like, I don't know, it just stands out rather, more than the other shirts.
Anything that you put your brand on is branding. So every idea that you came up with is pretty dope. The paint splash. Where did y'all come up with the paint splash idea versus the actual flash of the camera being the colors?
We came up with it because like if like you're like little or like if you're like growing into like the career that you want to be, you gotta like splash and everything. So like that's kind of like where like the different colors came into for the most part.
Is your name the flash that's coming out of the camera?
Yes.
Okay.
That's dope.
I picked up on that. That's why I asked why.
How'd you guys come up with that idea?
Colors.
Well, when we were thinking about it, like we were thinking about when we were sketching it actually, Jasharia came up and was like, what happens if our names come out as a splash? And then we started to look into it more and we figured this was the final result.
The teamwork was there. The teamwork was what made them complete, what made their whole presentation dope.
Everything was leveled up on theirs.
Their group they were really focused, and they got some people that are leaders in their group, so they got lucky to have two leaders in their group.
Yeah.
So that worked out well.
They got fives all the way across. I ain't even gonna hold you. They got fives all the way down.
I only give them before on the style.
I really liked it.
I like everything
I like
but
how they put their names
the font
in.
on a bigger picture.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was the only thing.
It was real
I didn't
small.
even
You
really
can't
pay
really
attention
see
to
it.
it,
Yeah.
and that's probably why they should have got a 4 because it really wasn't noticeable. Yeah, they put some thought into it. A whole lot of thought, actually.
And a whole lot of energy.
Yeah.
Some good vibes.
So this is our T-shirt, Rock Pride, and basically what we have here is something to represent Rochester, where we all come from, and we also have the compass here to represent all sides of Rochester: West Side, East Side, North Side, South Side, of course. And I love our shirt. I think it's wavy, and we also have our Save Our Streets, which means basically, we want all of our streets to be healthy, safe. We want everyone here to know, like, you could come somewhere where it's comfortable, where it's safe. So, yeah.
I think our shirts represent us, Rochester, like, as one. I don't think, like, anybody could just wear this shirt. I feel like if you wear this shirt, I feel like you should be a part of Rochester to, like, know where you come from and how you support it.
Also, I want to talk about the color. We picked a gold and a black because, it's subtle, but it's neutral at the same time. And I think the color scheme is really good because I feel like we didn't want to do no black and blue or, like, no black and red or, like, none of that because we didn't want to, like, trigger anyone. So I feel like the gold and black was really a nice touch. And it's something that I think everyone will want to wear and everyone can rock it. And yeah, it is important that, if you live in Rochester, you would want to wear the shirt. But if someone came here and they saw this in the store and they were like, oh, this is a nice shirt, I want to wear it. I mean, that's cool because, you might be wearing something that you like and you might not know what it means, but it's something that you like and we want that for everyone.
How did you guys come up with the whole idea with the compass and the city skyline?
Okay, so we all contributed evenly. We wanted to do something that showed Rochester. So, like, we have the bridge in it to show, like, our city bridge. And then we came up with the compass, because we want to show that someone who wears a shirt, it's representing their side, whether if they live on the west side or wherever they live at. So.
What is it that you guys love the most about Rochester? Because it's Rock Pride this shot. So what are you proud of when it comes to Rochester?
I'm proud of everything because Rochester is like really small where a lot of people come from, but also I'm not too proud because of the gang violence and any violence in general. But I feel like being in this shirt actually represent where I come from and who I am.
Rochester, I think like we're all one, like, and we all from everywhere, but like together we just, connecting at different points. Like they said, Rochester, it could go violent, but we still look at each other as family in Rochester, which is what this represents.
So this is kind of like our slogan, and we shorted it to SOS, but Save Our Streets, of course. I think it means, just like they all said, like, we want to stop the violence, we want to stop the gun violence, we want to stop people dying every single day in our city. We want
And if that is happening, we want people to get up. Like, we don't want people to sit up here and be like, oh, another killing? Okay, let's move on. Like, it's important. Like, if someone is dying, we want to help them. Or if someone is dead, like, we want to support that and prevent it. So that's why we have our Save Our Streets, because it's important. We don't want people to die. We don't want people to have bad health care. So, yeah.
So outside of the message of Save Our Streets, with like some, because you guys plan on selling this, right?
Yes, of course.
Will a portion of the fund go towards like initiatives that's gonna?
Sure.
Do you know what initiatives those are that you wanted to support as far as the initiatives that's gonna go out saving the streets?
You know, I think that when we once we sell these, I think a lot of the portion should go to people in poverty. You know, like people who don't have a support system, people who go through stuff every day, people whose families are dying, people's sons who are dying, people's daughters who are dying. That will go to them because, again, like I said, it's Save Our Streets, so we could contribute to them to help them out.
Yeah, it was, our teamwork was good, and like everybody came together, and like she said, we had some arguments, but we overcame them and worked together to finish our shirt.
Now, usually on Rochester shirts, the O is always the flower.
Yeah.
You guys chose a compass, and I know you say it's to represent every side. Is there a reason why you chose that?
Okay, so, I mean, this particular compass, I don't think we had like a specific idea for it. We just wanted a compass. At first, that was a thought, like, oh, let's do a flower, and that's what I said like in the beginning. But then that kind of got really weird, so we were like, no, let's make it different. Let's do something else that we wouldn't expect. So we picked the compass. It's more so to represent the sides of Rochester, not more so it being a compass, but
Right.
to represent like the streets and all that.
That's dope.
I like that. That's a first.
Yeah,
That's a first.
That's very much so.
My shirt, just to add it, I love our shirt, like I said, and I think that would be something that I would definitely buy. And I feel like it could be successful when I'm older, so yeah.
All right, so we just Rock Pride. Let's talk about Rock Pride. What was your thoughts on Rock Pride?
Originality, I give it a 5. That compass was a great idea.
That's a fact. I gave it a 5 as well.
That was a great
When it came to originality. The presentation was dope as well.
Yeah.
They all had something to say.
That's nobody out of all people who like you said.
Everybody though did a Rochester shirt.
Nobody ever
Everybody
thought
used the flower.
and nobody thought to use a compass to represent each side. That was
Unless they turned the flower into a compass.
I gave it a 4.5 because that was the only thing that was changed about everything, because everything else was what everybody else used for their shirt.
Yeah, I gave it a 4.
The skyline.
Yeah, the story behind it was a 5 though. I liked the story behind it.
Story, I gave it a 4.5. I gave it a 3.
You gave the story a 3?
Yeah. That's a high ranking, 1 out of 5. The story was pretty much the same story for everybody in a sense.
I feel like the judges, I never heard of them before. So then, like, when they were judging my shirt, I'm like, who are you? But then, you know, when they were telling us about who they were, I'm just like, okay, so you guys are pretty, you know, up there when it comes to fashion. You guys are knowledgeable and stuff like that. So I just kind of let it slide. We chose a flame because depending on how you use fire, it could be good or it could be bad. Just like gentrification, which is tearing up our communities, and it could also help our communities. So a way in which gentrification could help our communities is by bringing business and more money to areas that are considered undesirable. But the way in which gentrification can negatively impact our communities is by pushing those people who are already in those communities out of their communities.
We picked the blue flame because it's known to be the hottest flame. So like Greg said, like the destruction part of it, obviously blue hurts the most out of blue or red, so that's why we chose a blue flame over a red one.
And I feel like this is a, you know, an issue that everyone could kind of be affected by, whether, you know, you are rich or poor. You're rich because you take all the, you know, the slack from it. But then when you're poor and you have nowhere else to go, you have no other options, and then somebody comes take the only option you had away from you, then it's like, you know? So I feel like that's why we chose this design, to, you know, get people to understand that these problems exist, and we wanted to make everyone aware of that, because this is a problem that not only affects, in this country, you know, people of color, but it also affects people in other countries.
Why did y'all pick such a dark background color? Why did y'all do the black behind the flame? No, in the circle.
In the process of making this, we were trying to get this black to be transparent. So the only things that would actually be printed was like the circle, the flower, and then like the ashes part. But I don't know what was going on, but we couldn't really get it to be transparent, so we just had it black.
I love the story. I love the background about everything. I wouldn't say that shirt would be a shirt that would be like a shirt that's in stores for sale. What I do see this shirt as is a conversation piece. And I think that is genius, because if I'm seeing somebody with a shirt with a flower on fire, what the flip is that, bro? Like, and I don't know what is it, motto? I don't know what that means, so I'm definitely gonna be asking questions. So I would think that this is something for organization, especially what you guys have as the background as the story. This would be something huge to start, even as young, people of color. You know what I'm saying? As something to push forward as an agenda, more than just branding of clothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Basically, what you just said was basically our goal when we made this shirt. It was like to raise awareness of gentrification and the effects that it has on minorities and people in our community.
It's more of a organizational shirt versus a clothing line shirt. The concept and everything behind it is mad deep.
What was it like putting the clothing line together, like coming up with the drawings and working together in a team setting? Because I watched you guys a little bit. You guys had some back and forth. What
Yes, it was a lot of back and forth.
Okay. Tell me about it. So I'm gonna get on to everybody real quick. Let me say my piece. I feel like the only person that I agree with 99% of the time was KJ. And that one, yep, that's him. And in the 1% of the time where we disagree, we came to find out that it wasn't us disagreeing. It was just the way in which we articulated what we were trying to do, but it turned out to be the same thing. I think that the end result is okay. It's not something that I know that we're capable of doing. This is mediocre to me. I'm not gonna this is mediocre to me, but I like it. Yo,
Before you keep going, one thing you don't do is downplay your own work.
Listen, I'm not dumb.
You is. You just openly said it.
I think it's pretty
Because sometimes okay.
I don't really care for it like that.
But the thing about it is like whenever as creators, like the things that we create, sometimes we're always our biggest critic. So some of the things that I do, I look at it like I don't think that's good enough. But to other people, they may say, well, that's really dope. And so this whole panel could be thinking like, this is pretty dope. And then you said that you changed your whole mind because not even you think it's dope.
Yeah,
I think
it is mediocre.
Hold on.
Wait, that's him out of all people.
Yeah, that's true. What she said. And if I'm talking about me, I have really high expectations of myself. And when I'm doing great or whatever, to me, that's doing good. So I always try to look at this like, oh yeah, this is amazing, but what could I do next time to improve it?
Moto, I gave them a lot of
said.
things they talked about. Like the thing with the black background, I did tell them to make that transparent. And they're like, no, we should keep that on there. And then they came out here and then they said, we didn't know why we couldn't make it transparent. I was like, I told y'all to make it transparent.
I would have said that if I was right there. Yeah. I told y'all.
I think the look would have been so much better if it was.
Yeah,
right.
It would have made way more
really, like
sense.
A flower flame in outer space.
And the ashes would have had to been a little more prominent.
Yeah.
They only had like
we
4
had to know
ashes
they was
in there.
ashes.
Yeah.
And those wasn't supposed to be ashes, they were supposed to be amber. That's what they thought was ashes. Amber. Ashes are on the ground, amber floats.
I didn't know who he was either with the yellow, but I do know that like he was the most reasonable. He didn't really like our design, but then he understood the message that we were going for, and then like he understood what we were trying to do, and he wasn't just saying BS. And it was.
But he was dope. I like the concept off of using the different language. That was different. And they whole little storyline behind it was dope. I mean,
I gave
Story's
it a 5.
I
gave the
like
story a
the
5.
story is definitely a 5.
Story's a
And
5.
if they take his idea and use it as an organization,
Non-profit organization.
they
That
will
better
definitely pop off of that.
I think the one guy, Greg, he wasn't happy with how everything came out, but I did
He
tell him to
definitely
prepare,
expressed that.
and you know he kind of threw a lot of people under the bus, and
a lie. He threw
basically
everybody.
The whole team.
And the other team.
That don't do
Right.
I felt like my presentation was great. Even though I bashed my company, it deserved to be bashed. You know, I feel like your haters are your best supporters. You know, without haters, you won't know what, you know, you need to do to move your brand forward. You won't know what needs to be fixed. You won't know certain things. And I just think it's funny that the hater just so happened to be the leader of the group, moi.
He was doing a great job up until the point where he said, ours is mediocre. And so when he said that, you know, we all just put our head down, we laughed, and we just tried to explain to him that, hey, you know, you kind of got to fake it till you make it, even if you feel this way about your product. Not everybody feels the same way about it, and you have to still project a positive attitude about what you're trying to sell, what you're trying to pitch to somebody.
Me downplaying my crew, yeah, that was not okay. But then again, if the judges weren't gonna do it, who was?
It was funny at the time, but it was really sad because that really affected the team in a really bad way because it brought down their rates. And I think that if I were in their place and I said that, I wouldn't feel like bad and I wouldn't take it back because, you know, the best thing to me is be blunt and honest, and honesty is a good quality that you need to have. And I think that, like one of my friends said, if the judges aren't going to say the truth, then you might as well say the truth about your own thing that you created.
Our presentation was really good, and I felt that a certain person, if they didn't say something, it would have been like probably second place. When he called our shirt mediocre, I was like, what the hell, Greg? Like, what? Like, you did such a good job explaining everything, like, about our logo, like, what's behind it. And, like, I felt like the judges understood our meaning. But, like, once you said that, they were like, why should we care? Like, what?
Through, you know, working on these programs, you tend to build a relationship with a lot of the students and get to know each one of them. You know, some of them I've been working with them for like 2 years now. This is our second year, so we've gotten to know a lot of them. And then the relationship continues to grow as the time goes by. So after, I mean, it's a long process, but once it's completed, you know, you will miss the students. Being able to work with the students and provide an opportunity for them to just open up their minds, to really think about becoming an entrepreneur, letting them know that even though we created a simple design, we created a simple clothing line, the whole point was to get them to think about the fact that they can create what they want to create. And all it takes is some time, some effort, and they can build anything that they want. And so putting that in front of them is not something that they always get an opportunity to do, because in school you have to, you know, you have to do your math, you're supposed to study English, science. There's really no time for anything outside, outside of that, or for real life things. And so I think us presenting some real life things to them, I hope that some of them become entrepreneurs because of this experience. I hope that some of them become video producers or you know, decide to just create movies or TV shows based on this experience.